Are WWE planning more blood in future storylines? Plus, we've taken our first look at the WrestleMania 40 stage, and a WWE talent takes a shot at creative. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. Good Friday, I'll make it even better. Are we getting more blood in wrestling, Sam?
Which is, I'm all for that. Genuinely, yeah. I'm all for it. I like blood in wrestling. I know it's not the done thing anymore, but I'm a big fan. Very big fan.
Well, the times they are a-changing, to quote Bob Dylan. So we saw The Rock beat Cody bloody on Raw on Monday, like a dog.
And then at the end of WrestleMania Night 1, and then at the end of WrestleMania Night 2, and then Mania 41 Night 1, and then Mania... It's just going to keep going.
It's the song that never ends. Yeah. The Observer shared some details on if we're going to see more crimson masks in our future. They say, we're told that Dwayne Johnson, as always, will get to do pretty much what he wants. The further he pushes, it's likely the further at least some of the top stars can also go. With blood, the key is this is no longer Vince McMahon's company. We were told that going forward, it will be used very rarely. There are no plans to turn it into AEW, where it's used more liberally, but Johnson wants it in his angles. He's like Lesnar in the Vince administration. He has more power than Lesnar had then as well. He's going to be able to do what he wants in his angles and matches, and therefore other higher-ended people should be able to follow suit, it seems.
I think so. Like, there's going to be pushback from within the company, because ultimately the more all ages friendly the product is, the better it is for advertisers. But if they are able to offset some of that all ages friendly for advertiser stuff with just bigger contracts for more niche companies, and we can just have every match full of blood, then yes. But no, this sort of it's riffing off kind of a story I think it was like last weekend or the weekend before, where talking about The Rock maybe sort of getting a bit of preferential treatment, and there was all the reports of double standards, and The Rock came out and shut them down. But it sort of lines up with that kind of mentality, I guess, where if The Rock wants to have blood, then The Rock's going to have blood, goddamn. So ultimately, I think, there is a place maybe you can do... maybe we'll see a shift in content where the third hour of Raw is just that little bit more edgy again or something.
That's a nice idea.
Like, where it's just there's like a little pocket of the show after a set time where it gets a little bit more TV 14. But at the same time, I can see them just maybe using blood once every year, once every 6 months, if it's like deliberate. Obviously, accidental blood happens, but
I think as much as you say, like, you love the blood.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where the more you use it, the less impact it has.
This is like AEW. It's sort of like, I was so happy to see blood back, but again, it's one of them things where you see it again and again and again. It does reduce the impact of it, and it means you have to ramp it up to the point you're jumping off a 20-foot ladder through a pane of glass suspended over chairs, and your back turns into hamburger meat. But there's a place for that in wrestling as well. Like people, there's the ultra-violent crowd are really all about that. But I
don't want an entire generation of wrestlers who have foreheads like a Google Maps shot
why
of
not?
the spaghetti junction.
You could sell 8x10s by popping them in the slots, and you could just sort of walk around and offer your 8x10s that way.
Keep a tree bomb in it for later. Yeah. It's a nice idea.
Put some soil in it, grow some plants.
Oh, that's not going to be dangerous at all. Don't put soil in open wounds.
Not open wounds. I'm on about the sealed.
Oh, the closed wounds. You're fine with the closed wounds.
When
Get amongst it.
When you get the forehead ridges.
That's it. Yeah, them's the ones. WrestleMania 40 next weekend. We'd like to thank Ann Kit on Twitter, who shared the video of what the stage looks like right so far.
You can't really see much of it, but you can see some of it from behind, and them some big letters.
There are some big letters. Either that is a set for WrestleMania 40 or the set for Ainami Ilitsazuru.
Nice. I thought it was reused letters initially, and I almost flipped, and I'm not watching it. I'm not reused staging.
Recycling.
And then it's going to be like, you get letters, but then it's just going to be a video wall, and it doesn't look like it's just going to be a video wall, given the height. I know things are going to be lifted and moved around a lot yet, so like it could be completely different, but hopefully we get something a bit more like last year, where it's just this built-up thing. I really like the scale of last year's entrance, and you can't do that everywhere, because, it's a huge setup, I guess, and it depends on the layout that you're going for each event year on year, but it's going to be, it's going to be crazy. It's Mania.
Yeah. What's your favorite WrestleMania set? Mine is the one with the roller coaster.
33.
Love that.
I was going to say, like,
Love being a roller coaster.
Being there and seeing it was mental. When Undertaker came out and it caught on fire was even funnier.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 people with fire extinguishers just running behind Undertaker trying to put it out. But I liked the bit above. I liked the awning. It had like a huge wrestling ring on top of it. And I just
That
thought
was
it class.
good.
Yeah.
That was nice. It's a big part of the WrestleMania experience, isn't it? Is watching the set get built and finding and getting little sneak previews. And I think maybe normally it's only the Wednesday before where they'll have like a ceremonial reveal.
Somebody
of the
will
set.
ruin it, and then there'll be a big picture, and it'll be the screens, and the screens will say, "Oh my God, it's Goldberg back, and he's new champion." Underneath,
It'll just say that in big letters,
in huge letters, and it'll be like, "Guess who's coming back and winning everything?" And then, it'll be on Reddit within 10 minutes.
I will be there. Whilst the WrestleMania card itself is being kept very close to the chest, the Observer says we're told not to read into what we saw on Raw. So on Raw, we had the truck with Cena and Austin's face on.
A lot of people got excited about it. So you had Cena and Austin's face on the side of a WrestleMania truck. And I believe the trucks are usually set up in a way where you will have competitors on either side of the truck. But it's Stone Cold Steve Austin and John Cena, like 2 of the most recognizable wrestling stars of all time. You'd slap them on the side of a truck all day, wouldn't you?
All the time.
I get that the WrestleMania logo's in the middle of it, and it does sort of, maybe it'll be interesting. But I kind of side with this report. I just think it's too much. We're reading too much into stuff ever since the QR code days and getting too into the White Rabbit.
It's only because in that scene on Raw where as The Rock is taking Cody to continue the beating in the parking lot in the rain, he holds the door open at such an angle so you can see Cody's vodka advert very clearly on the bus. Like he's like, I'm just going to stand here for 20 seconds as per commercial requirements.
Oh, that would be a crazy mystery spot at WrestleMania Night 1. Could you imagine? As he points to the picture of Austin and Cena.
They're not turning up. Wink.
Wink, wink.
Oh my God, it's Goldberg. Despite that, the Observers say there is, quote, a mystery slot planned for WrestleMania. Now, we kind of went back and forth in terms of what this meant. It's a very vague terminology. Some believe, Aiden Upstairs believes it might be, is this the mystery slot, i.e. someone who's going to run in the main event?
Possibly. I saw it more as like a mystery slot on the card,
like
in where we'd have like when Rock turned up at 32, right? Where it's like, oh my God, huge, like random moment. This is amazing. And then like you get that kind of big moment and then see you later.
Or like when Elias was playing the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena
like
came out.
That kind of thing is what I was thinking. But it could refer to, I guess, something more concrete, more in line with the plans. We've, of course, got the storyline broaching both nights. So it feels like we're going to have some form of cliffhanger on night 1.
Maybe something or other. Kenny Omega flavored news. What's the latest on Kenny, Sam?
So Kenny Omega has diverticulitis, which has been it's been the main takeaway from the recent Kenny Omega news, and the reason that he's out, and it's very serious. It's something that needs to be carefully treated and carefully recovered from. But his time on the shelf is apparently dependent on whether he needs to have surgery for the diverticulitis or if it's something that can be resolved in other ways. The Observer's reporting that while no decision has been made yet, it looks more likely than not that Kenny Omega will be getting surgery on his intestines. He's had his ups and downs, but's largely been dealing with a good amount of pain for months now. And, if surgery is the way to get Kenny, feeling better in himself, then straight off, that's got to be, serious. But ultimately, if it's more beneficial to have the surgery, I guess, than wait forever to sort of grow accustomed to it or defeat it in other ways, it's something that only he can weigh up, I guess. Yeah,
if the surgery means that it can expedite the healing process, then it's definitely worth doing. He's planning to keep himself busy. He's launched a Twitch channel. Did you see that?
I think he's somebody that I don't think we will. It's not like we're not going to hear from Kenny. I feel like Kenny will pop up even before he's able to compete. Maybe I think when he's feeling better, Kenny will probably pop up. But I think we're going to see him in and around AEW and in and around the internet, just keeping himself out there. Of course.
Well, he's already popped up on a video with Matt McMuscles. They did a video on fighting games, and there's Kenny and Matt hanging out like great friends. Like it. He's keeping himself busy. We'll end on a little bit regarding some spiciness us on Twitter. So Piper Niven, you might have seen on Twitter. Spice lately. Piper has been going back and forth with Bully Ray, of all people, in a quote retweet battle for the ages. But she took a little shot at some of at a WWE announcement, didn't she?
Yes, so we've had the announcement of WWE Speed, finally. It's been teased, we've seen logos, we've apparently heard they've been doing test runs of WWE Speed, and the idea is that it's like a sub 3-minute match that is going to get the crowd excited, and they're going to share, I think it goes out live on Twitter or something.
There'll be a championship.
There's going to be a championship. Corey Graves announced it, this video went live, and then Piper Niven replied to this. Quote, retweeted it with 3-minute matches. Ladies, it's our time to shine. Wait, what do you mean it's not for and so yeah, we had people tagging Triple H. We had people kind of going off, but very shocked. But yeah, people were trying to grass on Piper, I think. As well.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
And scritches if you're a cat. But Piper Niven did respond to somebody who had tagged Triple H and said, "Shh, don't be grassing me up to the big man. Don't get her in trouble."
Nah, she's not going to get.
I'm surprised that. Obviously, there's a tournament for what we're assuming is a men's title for Speed.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like, you put women's matches on Speed as well, surely.
I think the women's matches are already tread in this manner again.
Yes.
The problem is that we have regressed. We are regressing in that. It feels like we're regressing on that front, and it's something that's on the tips of a lot of people's tongues in terms of the fans of WWE's women's division. That more time is needed, more attention's needed, more care is needed in the division, and I think this is just sort of echoing that sentiment, right? So I don't think that. I think putting women's matches on Speed would make them have to make longer matches. So yeah, women's Speed. Let's do that.
Speed in general.
Yeah.
It's Bank Holiday weekend. Tomorrow is the final of Gladiators on BBC One. I had a lovely chat with Inserico, who is Wesley from Gladiators. He's a pro wrestler, and he's in the final tomorrow. So we had a nice chat with him on the podcast feed.
Absolutely sick.
And get this, right, Easter Monday, ahead of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Obviously, Shayna Baszler competing at Barnett's Bloodsport. The first Brit to ever be announced for Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. He's a living Geordie, isn't he?
Big Lou Nixon.
Big Lou Nixon. Yeah. He popped in yesterday, and we did a lovely episode of Desert Island Graps with Lou Nixon. You can hear that on the podcast feed, and if you're a patron, you can watch it on Monday. So that's a nice way to spend your bank holiday weekend. A very unscripted, unfiltered chat with the Alan Shearer of Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, Big Lou Nixon. Shura.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I'm just so proud.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's making waves,
doing the thing.
I couldn't believe his body transformation as well. Like as I said, like I saw him leaving the office, and I was like, "Tom, who's that?" He was like, "It was Lou Nixon." I was like, "It's been so long."
He talked all about that as well, like because he was during lockdown, he just completely got into focus and manifestation.
You can tell, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's living it, right?
Great,
working Bloodsport.
Yeah, you can find out more about him on Monday. Anything you want to plug?
Tom, my brain's mush, mate.
His brain is mush, and he can mush his brain at the Sam Driver on Twitter. I'm at Tom Campbell on Twitter. And for the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. I love you. Bye.
I just want to get drunk.